Okay, so today what we're going to talk about is making a finger joint, and we're going to be using our dado stack like we've learned about in previous videos. Okay, and a finger joint is a good example is when you have two corners of a box and they are joined together in this fashion, like interlocking fingers. So we're going to show you that. So what I've done is I've set up the dado stack to a 1/2 inch width, and that's a pretty common finger width, you know, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch. We're set up for 1/2 inch, okay? I want to make sure we're going to set the depth of the cut to match the thickness of the sides of this box, okay? And I want to make that pretty accurate. That's it, okay? So what I'm going to do, first of all, I've added another auxiliary piece to just my simple miter sled for a little bit added stability and to give us an indexing pin, and I'm going to show you that. So I'm going to start the saw, and we're going to make this cut with nothing on it. Okay. So now we've got a slot cut in this board, the correct depth, correct width. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take this loose, and I'm going to cut a pin. I'm going to fashion a pin that fits this slot exactly. Okay, so I'm going to do that next. Okay, so what I've done, I went to the other table saw, and I cut a pin that'll fit in this slot perfectly. Okay, and it's nice and snug. Got to kind of force it in there, and that's what we want. A nice tight friction fit. I'm going to glue this in. Okay, we're going to do that now. And anytime I have a joint that has a male and a female part, you always glue the male part. Okay. So this gets pushed in like so. Okay. Pretty good right there. See that? And I want it sticking out on the front side of this apparatus that I've built, like so. Okay. Let's get set up here. Okay, so I'm going to reattach this. When I do, reattach this to the miter sled, I'm going to reattach it in a different position. I cut another piece the same size as my indexing pin that I made. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring this forward. Okay, I'm going to put this spacer between my pin and the dado stack like so. Okay, and that is where I'm going to attach it. Double check. That's nice and snug. Okay. Okay. So now, when I go to make this cut, okay. So I'm going to use this to space the first cut on this board, like so. I'm going to take that out. Make sure nothing's moved here. Nice and snug. Okay. This is our first cut. Okay. Now I'm going to put that first cut on my indexing pin and make the second cut. Okay. And then I'm going to put that cut make sure I'm down flush on the indexing pin and make my next cut. That's a little snug, not gonna lie. And then this will be our last cut. Kind of a hassle that I made that pin so snug, but it also kind of keeps everything in place. Okay? So that's what that looks like. I will repeat the same thing on the other end. Okay? One thing I've got to keep in mind. So there's a long side and a short side to this box. Okay? This has to be done opposite to fit into here. And so that's what we're going to do next. Okay, so we're getting ready to do the second side here. I just wanted to think this through before I went ahead and executed this, make sure I didn't mess it up. So this time, instead of adding the spacer, we're going tight up against the indexing pin for our first cut. Okay, this should then give us a nice finger joint. And these shouldn't be, you know, that easy to put together. This should be a very snug fit. Okay, you see that? And it is. You know, let me get a mallet. Okay, so what I've done, I've gotten a soft rubber mallet here. See if we can kind of coax this joint together here. So this is you can see how, I mean, just how stubbornly that one thing went together. I don't even have any glue in this yet. An incredibly strong joint, even with no glue. Okay, we put glue on all these surfaces. This is an incredibly well-constructed joint. The more that you can increase your wood-to-wood contact area in any joint, the stronger it's going to be. So there is your finger joint. So we want to knock that apart and glue it at this time.